3 powerful, simple words. It's what TAPS is all about. It gets us through the tough days. These words on Tom's headstone have gone from a personal message to a powerful ballad. That beautiful song has become an album, a collaboration between survivors and songwriters. The message of TAPS. Love lives on.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is our third installment talking about the Love Lives On project. And you're just going to have to hang out with just me for a little bit. We will have some guests joining us a little bit, but they're a little delayed, and that's okay. That was Miss Bonnie Carroll, the founder of TAPS, which is TAPS, Tragedy Assistance Program for survivors of our servicemen and women who have given the ultimate sacrifice. And this organization, we've been learning more and more about it. I first came familiar with it when the Love Lives On project came out around Memorial Day. On May 22nd, it was released. And each one of these songs on this album are written by some of the best songwriters in Nashville, but more importantly, the families of each who have lost a loved one, who was either an active service member, who had just come home, whatever their specific circumstances are. TAPS has been there to help them get through each step of that process, whether it's just a text to say, hey, how are you today? Or, come join us at this meeting or this gathering or this camp out. There's a lot of things there for our servicemen and women and their families. So please make sure you check them out at taps.org and learn more about that. For the Love Lives On Music project, you can find out everything about that and and you can purchase all the vinyl that's now available. You can download the album itself if you just want to download, but who doesn't love vinyl? Maybe some of the young kids don't know about the vinyl yet, but vinyl has such a rich sound to it. And you can go to lovelivesonmusic.com for that and all information. And every one of these websites link back to each other in some way or another. The other one, and that who we are going to talk with tonight, is RAMS, which stands for, let me make sure I get it right, Roots and American Music Society. Without them, it's like without each one of these parts, none of it would have been possible. It took all of these individual groups, all of which are nonprofit organization, even the Music Society. They are a nonprofit organization. And they stepped up and said, hey, let's do this project, and got involved with TAPS, and Love Lives On was born. And Bonnie started TAPS as a way to, there was nothing for her when her husband Thomas passed away. The story, I have not personally talked with Bonnie, but in watching her story and reading about it, she felt there was a need for this. And as it turns out, through this week, as we've talked to Preston Brown's family, we talked with his mother Stephanie, his brother CJ, and his sister Shay on Tuesday, and they talked about how much this program meant, and and Stephanie had talked about how many retreats she's gone on, and how those texts came from Keely at TAPS just when she needed them, and they weren't expected. Those little God moments when he reaches down and lets us know that um, somebody's thinking about us. But they've been there to reach out to also to Tammy Ashley that we talked with last night, and her son Jordan, who lost his brother and her son, Sergeant Joshua Ashley. And so it's been a way of healing and being able to tell their stories in these songs, and share the legacy of their loved one, who, again, gave the ultimate sacrifice for us to have the freedoms that we have. So make sure you check out the project. What I want to do, other artists that will be on joining us a little bit later is Frank Myers. Frank Myers he co-produced the Love Lives On album. And you may not recognize just the name Frank Myers, but I guarantee you will recognize some of the 12 number one hits and the 20 top 10 hits that he has had with things like I Swear, John Michael Montgomery, and All for One. Also, I'm Already There, Lone Star, and You and I, Eddie Rabbit, Crystal Gale. The list goes on and on. Frank also has released a new song called God's Got This. And if you haven't heard that, please go check that out. But he was a co-writer and co-producer on the title track of Love Lives On. And it is such a great song. I'll go ahead and play the lyric video for you all for that one. And we'll just sit here and we'll even just to recap some of the lyric videos. If as long as people are delayed, no big deal. We can find plenty to share with you all. So with this project, so let me do a little of the back scene stuff here and get a couple of these queued up so that we can share them with you. So this would be the Love Lives On title track, and this is Lone Star, Vince Gill and Friends.
On a snowy, windy morning, in a plane crash in the mountains, you and 7 other soldiers said goodbye. We shared 5 years together, and that wasn't long enough, but I swear they were the best years of my life. And on the days your memories tearing at my heart, you always find a way to let me know we're not apart. Love lives on every day, every night, in our hearts, in our minds, like an old classic song. Love lives on where we work, where we live, in the eyes of our kids, every picture on the wall. I can still feel you with me, even though you are gone. Love lives on. Love lives on. They were fathers and mothers, some were sisters and brothers, wives, husbands, daughters, and sons. Different towns, different stories, different faces, different names. The bond we shared will never come undone. We're there for each other through the tears and the pain. And though the grief we share together never goes away, love lives on every day, every night, in our hearts, in our minds, like an old classic song. Love lives on where we work, where we live, in the eyes of our kids, every picture on the wall. I can still feel you with me, even though you are gone. heart. Love lives on every day and every night. In our hearts, in our minds, like an old classic song. Love lives on where we work, where we live, in the eyes of our kids, in every picture on the wall. Love lives on like an old classic song. Love lives on. Every picture on the wall. Love lives on. Love lives
My mic, I still had my mic muted. What a great song. I had not seen the actual lyric video for that yet, but great timing because I'm going to add to the screen, and I hope I get your last name correct. Is it Dunavant?
Yes, it is. Dunavant. You're close enough.
Okay, Dunavant. Okay, just quicker. I just need to not drag it out. Steve Dunavant with Roots and I want to make Roots and American Music Society. I'm so sorry for the no. I evidently I don't know what happened with the link there, but I apologize for that.
Oh, no worries.
But we got to watch the lyric video for "Love Lives On," and actually, it looks like Frank's joining us now too. So I'll bring him on as well.
Hey guys.
Hello, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fine. I was just telling Steve, I apologize. I don't know what happened there with the link, but hey, it's a new adventure every time we do one of these.
Hey, no worries. We're both here.
No worries. Doesn't Frank's background look a lot better than mine? I mean, look at that.
Frank's looks a lot better than mine. Like but okay, in all fairness, 12 number one hits, 20 top 10s. I mean, mine would probably look like that too. We just played I started out and I went ahead and got started because I wanted to talk. So I love this project. This project, I don't know that I can even put it into words without sitting here mumbling. It sounds like I'm mumbling every time I talk about it. I love this project, but I love what it brings out of the songwriter, and I love what it brings out of the families. And I've heard a lot of the songwriters that have written on this one, or like Andy Griggs, who kind of came in at the last minute with Canine Brother, say this was such a special project. And out of all the rights that these guys have done, and Frank, I'm sure you can speak to this, is that you all, I mean, thousands of songs you all write, and then this one sticks with you so much. So, Steve, what made you all decide to get? How did Love Lives On, Taps, and Rams all how'd that collaboration happen?
Well, the Roots in American Music Society started. I guess it was back in 2014, and the idea behind it was to really to support the creation of music, and we didn't know we would ultimately evolve into a nonprofit record label, but that's what happened. The very first project that we worked on was a project that was it was really cover songs. It was we teamed up with a producer, Tamara Saviano, and we did a tribute album to Sun Records. and it was called Red Hot, a Memphis Celebration of Sun Records. And the idea was to really bring recognition to what a great studio. At the same time, we wanted to support St. Jude. So all of the proceeds for that album went to St. Jude. And then after doing that, we gained a lot of experience, and we decided, well, wouldn't it be really cool if we could do something in the original music space? And Brian Hayes, who's part of the Roots in American Music Society with me, we started to think about what could we do. Brian had served in the military. He did a tour in Iraq, and we wanted to do something that recognized the amazing sacrifice that service members gave. And so the idea came to us that maybe we should think about something that celebrates the service. And we were talking with one of our board members, Rusty Hensley, and about the idea. And he said, you've got to meet this organization called TAPS, and Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. And frankly, neither Brian and I had any familiarity with them. Yeah. But when we went to their website, we were amazed at what they were doing to support military families that had a member that had fallen serving our country. And we were really struck by that. So Rusty introduced us to Bonnie, and we had a wonderful call. Of course, when you talk to Bonnie, it's a pretty impressive event. And so we had a great call with Bonnie, and she said, can you come back to us with an idea for an album? And we came back with the idea of having original songs by pairing these families with great songwriters. And we knew that had to, that we really had a feel for some of the great songwriters that are there in Nashville. And so she said, let's do it. And so the way it works with us is we go out and raise the funding for the album. We're the behind the scenes people. The most important thing that we do is really to go find the producers for the album. And Bonnie said, had suggested we meet a couple of their folks. And so she mentioned Frank and Jimmy Nichols. And we said, well, sure, we'll go talk to them. And of course, it didn't take you long doing just a little research on both of them. Yeah, he's a pretty impressive guy.
Okay, this may work.
This may work. But I can tell you that it really starts there. Everything centers around, because so much of it falls on the producer. We're the behind the scenes. We're making sure the legal's done. We're making sure that we've got distribution lined up. We're making sure that the money's in, that we can fund the album. So I'm a CPA. That's a comfortable place for me. Writing music, I've always desired to be able to write a song, and I play a little music myself. And so for 30 years, I've been trying to do that. I have yet to write one lyric. And so it's just, I go into immediate block.
You know what? You just went, instead of waiting on the label to come to you, you just created your own. So, hey, there you go.
Yes.
There you go.
So, so we were introduced to Frank, and the rest is really history from there. Most amazing person to work with, one of the hardest working people in Nashville, and one of the most talented and gifted people you'll ever meet. And so we were just really blessed.
Okay, wait a minute, Steve. How much did I say I'd give you?
The usual, Frank. Which
okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure.
So
we're going overboard there. I just wanted to make sure I didn't promise something else.
But I want to say something that our first real event that we got to spend some time with Frank was at the TAPS. They have this amazing event in Washington, D.C. every year in March. This past year, they couldn't do it because of COVID. And it's a gala. And it's the first time we got to really spend a lot of time with Frank and Jimmy, but we got to spend a lot of time with the TAPS team and the TAPS families. and you cannot go to that event and not be changed forever in the way you view that organization. They're amazing. And then to get to do that, sitting alongside Frank and Jimmy and Richie McDonald, it was an amazing event for us. So I need to get out of the way and let Frank talk and let you talk.
No, you're doing a good job, man. I'll sit here and listen.
No, you are. And here's what I love about it, because as you're a CPA, and so I love watching how this touches people from all walks of life. When music is important to you, yes, but it's and then TAPS, just becoming familiar with them. I didn't know anything about them either until the project was, when the press release came out, and then I haven't been to any galas yet. I'm going to put it on my list, but just in talking with, at first, the artists when the album was coming out, to this week being able to meet this way the families, and then watch that reunion happen with Preston Brown's family and Deborah Allen and Andy Griggs and Tammy Ashley. There is this magic that happens when they see each other. Yes. So I love to be able, I love hearing your story. So you're not talking too much at all. And Frank, I would say it's old hat for you to do, but I think that this project is a little different.
This was a labor of love from day one. And because we had talked about trying to do something, even a year or two before Steve came into the picture, but he actually was able to bring it home for us. And, talking about the TAPS Honor Guard Gala that we were all at, Richie and I and Jimmy actually performed, I think we did I'm Here For You and a couple other songs. I'm Here For You was an original song that Billy Montana and I wrote that we were trying to get an artist to do and put out and donate the money to TAPS. And but that just never happened. But at this gala, Bonnie talked about, she always does her opening remarks, and she was talking about her husband, Tom, and this was the 25th anniversary of TAPS, and he'd been gone, I guess, 26 years. Yeah. And how she always wanted to get him a larger headstone. And she talked about this, and at the bottom of the headstone, she put "Love Lives On." And when she said that, Richie was sitting in front of me, and he turned around and looked at me like, "Hey, that's a good idea right there." Well, Steve must have thought it was a good idea too, because that became the title of the project, "Love Lives On," for everybody. And I once I realized what we were doing, and we were going to bring these families in, and so I was able to contact writers and put them together with the families. But before that all started, I called Bonnie and I said, "Bonnie, this project is called Love Lives On, so we need to have your story as well."
Yeah.
And she was so worried that the song was just going to be about her, and she wanted Love Lives On to be about all the survivors. And I said, "Well, don't worry, it will be, but at least in the first verse, we want to tell your story." And that's what we did.
Yeah. And I started this with her little intro that she does in the snow. The little 1 minute, 38 second powerful intro. And, you wouldn't think in 1 minute and 38 seconds that it could be that powerful, but from Bonnie and this, it is. There's something about that whole thing that really is. And I've enjoyed, I don't think there's a song on here that I can say, oh, that's my favorite, because every time I listen to it, and then, seeing the families, meeting the families, there becomes a different connection with it. And I hope that everybody gets that connection and then understands, one, these families have opened up their hearts and their grief to us, and sharing that and letting their loved ones' legacies go on. Is there going to be a Love Lives On 2?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that it's a lot of work, and it you really I think, Frank, I was counting up the number of people that we had involved in the project. I think we were a little over 200 people involved in the project,
Oh,
and you can't do it without the right without everything coming together. So you
right.
have to have the team from TAPS that was amazing. They really worked so many of the logistical issues. They helped with ideas. So you have to start with a team that is invested in the project
Right.
from the charity's perspective, and TAPS, you won't find a better team. And what comes out of that, you can't be around them very long. You start to pick up their love for what they do and for the families.
Right.
And that just starts to consume you. And that's the one thing I would say. I already missed that. We spent a little over a year and a half on the project, and so I missed that because there's some just amazing people that work there. That it's just more than a job for them. It just goes deeper, and that inspires you, as being their partner to really. I really think we understood coming out of the gala how the level of responsibility that goes into an album like this, and the level of you have to be so respectful because of this of what has gone before us
Right.
in this project, and so you want to be respectful of that. And we had such a good partner to help us with that, and having Frank involved, because he had been involved with TAPS for a long time, just was so helpful as well. It just doesn't take long for that TAPS family to sort of wrap their arms around you, and then working with their survivors and the project, it's a moving experience. It will change your life.
Well, and I know that it has, I mean, just, and Frank, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I know just for me that because I've been able to, off camera, and be able to become, communicate with the moms on a mom level. I don't know. I can never understand their grief. But I can sympathize with it. And there is this inspiration that they bring, and this strength that I think, wow, I don't know that I would have that, but I call these all like kind of like, I think God puts everybody in everybody's path. And I think he kind of brought this whole project together, right at the right time it was supposed to. His timing, not ours. So I'm sorry, Frank, I didn't mean to. Please go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I mean, there was definitely divine intervention throughout this project. And talking about how powerful her 1 minute, 30-second video is, it's because it's real.
Yes.
That's the same way with these songs. They're real. It's real life songs and emotions and stories. And, the survivors opened their hearts to the songwriters, and the songwriters poured their hearts into the songs, and they're all wonderful songs, and they all stand on their own. Each song is great, in my opinion. And I think that people are really missing the boat if they don't go to lovelivesonmusic.com.
Absolutely.
And listen to all the interviews of the people talking about the songs and what they're about, and look at the videos and things. There's so much information there, all the behind the scenes stuff. It's really worth the money to download that record and to stream it a lot. And because that's where you make the money, and the more streaming you get, the more of the little piece of the pie that you get. But to know the whole story, it just means so much more. People will take so much more from this project by doing that.
Absolutely. Because I know that just for me going and watching some of the doing research before interviews to listen to some of the stories and watch how it all came together. When I was doing this back in May, I was like, wow, this is, and you just get like in the YouTube rabbit hole of going to the next one and then the next one. And because each one is so powerful and moving, you're thinking, okay, the next one, I'll be able to put my Kleenexes up for a little bit. And because and it's not just that it's a sad sob story. Not at all. It's the opposite. It is uplifting and you feel for these families, but you, as just a human being, walk through this. You feel like you go through this journey with them. And I think that's what the songwriters that you all did so well was take us on that journey with the families in such a respectful and caring way that
they did a great job. And then the artists that I was able to bring in to pair up with the songs, if they didn't co-write the song, I mean, I reached out to a lot of people. So I really believe that it was God's hand in choosing the ones we ended up with. And
I told Andy, I don't see anybody else singing Canine Brother. Like, I think Andy was made for that song. I do think it was a little mean whoever decided to have him sing it live for the first time in front of Tammy. I'm just saying.
Well, we don't really know whose idea that was, but I gotta tell you the and nothing against Andy, because I hadn't seen Andy in a long time, and I'd worked with Andy on another project. I produced his last record that he had on a semi-major label, Montage, and I had initially the Oak Ridge Boys were going to sing that song, and they would have been great on that song as well, but I just couldn't get any commitment for when I could get them to do it, and it was just became a hassle. And I had gone out to Colorado Springs to do a TAPS event, and I had asked Andy to come do it. And when we were on stage and he opened his mouth and started singing, I said, dang, man, I forgot how good he could sing.
Right.
And I've worked with him. And so after the show, I told Andy, I said, man, I want you to be a part of this project. And so he was perfect for Canine Brother.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with saying that, because there's many, blockbuster movies that somebody got turned, they wanted somebody, but then that didn't work out. So the next lead in that movie ended up being what made it. So I think Andy made this song, and I love the Oak Ridge Boys too, but
it worked out exactly how it was supposed to. And I also have to say, a couple other moments that you probably haven't heard about as far as divine intervention. I was able to get All for One to fly in for 12 hours and sing "Isn't It Amazing," the second song on the record, and the lady who co-wrote the song with Billy Montana and Kenny Thomas, it was about her husband who had passed on. He was a pilot, and he used to say, "Isn't it amazing?" all the time whenever they would see something that was really beautiful or whatever. But on the day that they came in and sang the vocal, that was the anniversary of his death.
Oh my!
And
I didn't even know that, Frank.
The same thing with Pam Tillis when she came in to sing "New Set of Wings." It was the anniversary.
Oh, see, y'all, y'all, I can't. No, please continue. I really can. It's just, but I think that goes to. I mean, oh my gosh.
And I always felt like because of that divine intervention that this project will find a way somehow to really be a popular thing.
Yeah, and I think
grassroots kind of.
Yes, I think that and look, we're not some huge platform. However, this will always be something we support. Always.
But we appreciate.
Thank you.
Because it is very near and dear to my heart. These artists are, these families are, these soldiers are, and everybody that's a part of this has just, I can't explain it. And it is, it is a love for me, this whole project. So that's, we wanted to do this week and make sure that we pay tribute to each family we could, each song we could, and of course tomorrow on Patriot Day, to make sure that we share all the lyric videos, because there's not one more important than the other, and each one does need to be heard. And Frank, I had mentioned real quick, your new single that's out, God's Got This, which I don't know. I sent Kat a message when I got the press release, and I said, please tell Frank. And then, I don't know, I wrote a big long paragraph about it, because the song, it's again, an amazing song. And I think sometimes, I've seen it not happen as often now, but sometimes writers or artists tend to not want to put out songs on a country format, or that are too focused on God or a religion.
I don't know how we ever came around to that. I mean, look at
right.
Chris Christopherson, Lord Help Me Jesus,
right.
And some of the other big Christian songs that country radio played. I don't know how we got around to this, but it doesn't matter. It was a song that was a gift to me from God, and I wrote the first verse and chorus, and played it for Richie because I wanted Richie to sing it, and he's such a great singer. And we finished the song, and then COVID hit, and I said, you know what? I'm not waiting around for Richie or anybody else to do this song. I feel like the Lord wants me to put this out there. I think he wants this message to be out there. And it's been very well received. I've had so many people telling me how much the song means to them and how much they needed to hear that message. And that's exactly why I decided to do it. So,
I think I kind of look at, yes, we're normally in an RV traveling the country, not sitting stuck in Kentucky. Not that look, we're with my parents, and I love my parents. I'm just ready to get out of the house now.
Well, listen, I've been sitting here with this guitar the whole time, and it's just like asking me, "What are you doing? Are we going to do something?" Or
do you want to play something for us?
I'm going to do "Love Lives On" because that's why we're here.
Please do that.
The song. It's such an amazing song, and like I said, the first verse. And excuse me, I got to wet my whistle here.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I tell you what, I'll take.
I don't think Steve's ever heard me do it, but
I'll take Steve and us off the screen, and we'll give you the whole screen to yourselves. But we'll still be here.
But this is for all the survivors and anyone that's lost someone, because love does live on. So.
On a snowy, windy morning, in a plane crash in the mountains, you and 7 other soldiers said goodbye. We shared 5 years together, and that wasn't long enough, but I swear they were the best years of my life. And on the days your memory is tearing at my heart, you always find a way to let me know we're not apart. Love lives on every day, every night, in our hearts, in our minds, like an old classic song. Love lives on where we work, where we live, in the eyes of our kids, and every picture on the wall. I can still feel you with me, even though you are gone. Love lives on. Love lives on. They were fathers and mothers, some were sisters and brothers.
wives, husbands, daughters, and sons. Different towns, different stories, different faces, different names, but the bond we share will never come undone. We're there for each other through the tears and the pain, and though the grief we share together never goes away, love lives on every day, every night, in our hearts, in our minds, like an old classic song. Love lives on where we work, where we live, in the eyes of our kids, and every picture on the wall. I can still feel you with me, even though you are gone. Love lives on. Love lives on through your sacrifice, and all you left behind, give you strength to carry on. Love lives on every day, every night, in our hearts, in our minds, like an old classic song. Love lives on where we work, where we live, in the eyes of our kids, and every picture on the wall. I can still feel you with me, even though you are gone. Love lives on. Love lives on. Love lives on. Yes, it does.
Nice.
Thank you. I love that song.
It's a great song. And Laura, I don't know if you're aware of this, but tomorrow is 9/11 as well, and the Army band does a commemoration concert, and they picked 3 songs off the album that they're going to do. So I think it's going to be streaming on the Army's Facebook site. There may be some other sites, but they've picked Love Lives On, You Carry Me Too, and Canine Brother. I believe those are the 3 that they selected. So I cannot wait to hear their interpretation.
So who is this again?
This is the United States National Army Band.
Is it like a big like a marching band type or concert band?
Yeah.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
Is someone going to be singing it or just instrumentals?
I don't know about the singing. I don't know the details. It's kind of special to me because my dad was in the Army band.
Oh yeah,
and he was a French horn player, and so Kat sent me a note that's just made me aware that they're going to do that, and that was something that I think TAPS was instrumental in putting together. TAPS works with every branch of the military, and they're one of the very few nonprofits that does that. Of course, they play a very special role. But
not to interrupt you, Steve, but it looks like Katie Manis is saying Parish is on at 4:00 tomorrow.
Okay. Yes.
4:00 Eastern time is what she's commented over there. So
yes, so you can see it at that time. I would really watch that. I'm going to be watching it.
What channel is that? What?
I'm going to look at it through. I think it's Facebook. Katie might chime in again and tell us, but I think it's off their Facebook site.
Katie, where can we find it? she's being our moderator in here. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're doing great, though. You're doing great. Hey, that's the great thing about working with Katie. She will keep you in line. I can tell you that.
She said Facebook. Hey, we all need somebody good that keeps us in line, and that we know will keep us in line like that.
Well, she is an amazing person. I will tell you, she's just absolutely amazing. A big, huge heart, and just a amazing.
Yeah, you all are just. I think nobody takes any credit in this whole thing by themselves, and one, that's a great thing to see. But everybody in this whole project has such amazing hearts, and I'm so honored to be able to spend a little time and hear the music, learn the process, meet the people involved in it, and be able to share that with everyone. So and then everybody does need to go to lovelivesonmusic.com. Look, if you cannot afford to download everything right now, that's okay. Stream it. Doesn't cost a thing to stream it. And we all understand everybody's having a tough time right now. If you can download it. It's $9.99. But there's also apparel. There's hoodies and t-shirts and mouse pads and cups. There's everything you could want from Love Lives On.
You can also order a physical CD and an album.
Yeah, the vinyl.
Oh, yeah. Which is very cool.
I'm going to order my vinyl. Deborah Allen showed it to us, and I was like, what? Because everything's so much richer on an album. Well, Andy Griggs and I decided we would maybe do like a Monday at Andy's with the album. He wants a couple little scratches on it. I said, we're not taking Deborah's copy to do that with. Oh, look, Frank has his copy. Yeah, I went on the website today. I am anxiously awaiting mine because there is nothing like vinyl. These songs are already great, but to add that rich vinyl sound to it will be amazing. Frank, thank you for everything that you give us in music that is so healing for us outside of this, but also so much with this project. But I mean,
you're so welcome. As I told you before, this was a total labor of love for me, and I love this project. I think it's a project that you can listen to over and over and over without getting worn out by it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have written a lot of the songs that are the soundtrack of my life. So, I mean, it's like I'm looking at the list going, yeah, wow. So it's awesome to finally meet the person behind those songs. And Steve, what can I say? Gosh, thank you. Thank you for having such a big heart and putting together this labor of love too. But this RAMS, Roots and American Music Society, where people can have the opportunity to do stuff like this. So
thank you. Anything
that we can ever do with anything you all are working on, or with this one, to let us know. We would love to, and we'll have to get over to Memphis and get to Nashville and see everybody. So you all make sure you check out, head over to Roots and American Music Society and check out their website. There's a lot of amazing information there. You can get the album. It's Red Hot, correct? The Sun Records tribute album, which is amazing too. If you know anything about Sun Records, you need to own this album. And then the Love Lives On album, you can get it there as well. And then TAPS, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. Please go listen to Bonnie's story, but also listen to everybody's story on there. Tomorrow we're going to run all the lyric videos. But when you're taking a break from watching the lyric videos, head over to click a couple links down, listen to the stories, see some of the behind the scenes, because it shows you how everybody came together for this. And then Music City News, thank you all so much. I love you, and you know that, for putting this all together. Frank Myers, best of luck with God's Got This, and hey, God's got this, I think. But thank you all so much for joining us, and
anytime.
Make sure you all check this out and get your copies of everything. If you all will hang on with me just a second,